In America, we don't worship government, we worship God. The race for the White House seat is becoming hotter than ever as Trump returns to the race and is trying to campaign for his second term. Since he first started running for office in his campaign, in addition to putting America's prosperity first, he has always emphasized his commitment. His belief in God, Trump's last campaign, Make America Great Again, touched the hearts of Americans and received their great support. So in the upcoming election, if Trump can launch a campaign that both affects all Americans and touches Christians who are largely placing their trust in Trump, Trump's chances of winning will be high. Will probably be higher. Do you think like that? Along with his strong belief in God, Trump recently issued a warning to America, and this can make everyone panic. Trump warns those who do not believe God. It can be said that America is the country with the shortest founding history in the world, but has risen to become the most powerful country in all fields of economics, politics, and politics. Military and especially science and technology. What makes this young country achieve such miracles? The answer is faith. Up to 95% of Americans from the common class to the elite have a strong belief in God. Something you cannot find in any other country. In American history, the first legislators took to the streets. The Bible as the standard established laws and solved social problems according to the Spirit of God expressed in the Bible. Therefore, the Bible is also considered the foundation that gave birth to the U.S. Constitution. Thanks to that, America has the leading development in the world today. Trump once said, "As long as there is God, we will never, ever be alone." Whether you are a soldier standing guard on the night shift or a single parent working the night shift, God will always give us comfort, strength, and encouragement. We need to keep moving forward. During the National Day of Prayer, 2018 President Donald Trump said, "Americans of faith have built the hospitals that care for our sick, the homes that tend to our elderly, and the charities that house the orphaned, and they minister, and they really do. They minister to the poor, and so beautifully, and with such love." He added more, "We are proud of our religious heritage. And as president, I will always protect religious liberty. We've been doing it. We've been doing it." Because of his great faith in God, Trump especially shows no support for those who deny him. According to Trump, those who have false beliefs will not find enlightenment or guidance from God. Because Trump believes in him, he has achieved what he is now. Once the U.S. president, and now continuing to run for this position again, and he looks forward to the support of Christians. He also pledged to have policies that protect them, while also protecting his faith. In the race for the White House is God with Trump. There are quite a few spiritual people who foresee that Mr. Trump will win the race for the White House in 2017. One of them is an Italian who claimed before Mr. Trump was elected president of the United States that he had received a prophecy in the 1980s that a man named Trump would bring America back to religion. Before Trump's spectacular victory, a number of media outlets ran the headline, "Maybe God did choose Trump to be president." And now with the 2024 race underway, many Christians are also placing their faith in Trump's return and victory. Trump too believes that God has been, is, and will always accompany him in this race. Trump also warned Christians of violence. "Get people to support us." Evangelicals have provided a solid block of support for Trump. Trump is trying to keep his supporters on his side. "You have to hopefully get out and get people to support us," Trump said. "If you don't, that will be the beginning of ending everything that you've gotten." That's a problem. Trump said the evangelical leaders could help solve by galvanizing their congregations and followers to vote. "I just ask you to go out and make sure all of your people vote. Because if they don't, we're going to have a miserable 2 years and we're going to have, frankly, a very hard period of time," he said. "You're one election away from losing everything that you've gotten," he added. Trump's point is that if Christians did not support him, no one would protect them like he did. Christians have always been the focus of attacks. So they need someone rich and powerful enough to protect them. And that person, Trump confidently declared, was himself. Let's take a look at some of Trump's views on this story. "God made me to be America's caretaker." Donald Trump has shared an eerie video on the eve of the Iowa caucuses in which he appears to proclaim himself God's chosen emissary on earth, sent to deliver America back to prosperity. The viral video shows the former president, in starkly religious, almost messianic tones, as the vessel of a higher power sent to save the nation. The 3-minute clip opens on grainy footage of an LP turning on a record player, broadcasting an apparently ancient sermon in which a preacher intones, and on June 14, 1946, God looked down on his planned paradise and said, "I need a caretaker." So God gave us Trump. What follows, set to a photograph of the Republican tycoon as an holy infant, followed by a montage of apt scenes from his presidency, continues with a wild cod scripture narration. God said, "I need somebody willing to get up before dawn, fix this country, work all day, fight the Marxists, eat supper, then go to the Oval Office and stay past midnight at a meeting of the heads of state." So God made Trump, the voiceover says. "I need somebody with arms strong enough to wrestle the deep state, and yet gentle enough to deliver his own grandchild. Somebody to ruffle the feathers, tame the cantankerous World Economic Forum, come home hungry, have to wait until the First Lady is done with lunch with friends, then tell the ladies to be sure and come back real soon and mean it." So God gave us Trump. The bizarre video concludes with God anointing Mr. Trump as the shepherd to lead his flock, and pledging that his man, assuming he can secure the Republican nomination and beat Joe Biden at the polls in November, will drill for fossil fuels, create more American jobs, secure the southern border, build the U.S. military, and fight the system all day, while still finding time to attend church on Sundays. I will not discuss in depth the political views or ideologies appearing in this video. It is worth mentioning that this is a video that shows that Trump appeared due to God's will. God sent it to the Americans. And Trump's sharing shows that he agrees with this. He confidently acknowledged his importance to America. Daniel chapter 2 verse 21 says that God changes the times and seasons. He removes kings and establishes them. Romans chapter 13 verse 1 saying, "The authorities that exist have been established by God." If you read these verses to imply that God wanted or established Trump in office, then it also implies the same about every other world leader, including those whose views and policies do not align with evangelicals' agendas. Only God become a speaker. Trump joked that only Jesus Christ could secure enough support from House Republicans to win the speakership. Speaking to a group of reporters in New Hampshire, Trump stressed the difficulty of the 4-vote threshold, the maximum number of House Republicans candidates can afford to lose in a floor vote while still winning the speaker's gavel. That 4 threshold is very tough. It's a very tough thing. No matter who it is, Trump said, there's only one person that can do it all the way. Do you know who that is? Jesus Christ. If Jesus came down and said, "I want to be speaker," he would do it. Other than that, I haven't seen anybody that can guarantee it. Perhaps what Trump means here is that the only person who holds the chance of becoming Speaker of the House can only be Jesus. And if Trump wants to sit in this position, it means that he must receive the consent and guidance of God. I want you to believe in God. Trump is never shy when talking about his love for God. He always publicly announced his faith and hoped that his power would protect the faith. So have you ever wondered why Trump constantly calls on people to trust in God? You're not alone if you are open to the existence of God, but aren't sure you can accept Jesus' claim to be God in the flesh. First, we believe in God because we sense, at the deepest level of our being, that there's an inalienable moral structure to things. Life, love, and meaning are morally contoured. There's an inalienable law of karma that is experienced everywhere and in everything. Good behavior is its own happiness, just as bad behavior is its own sorrow. Different religions word it differently, but the concept is at the heart of all religion and is in essence the very definition of morality. The measure you measure out will be the measure that's measured back to you. That's Jesus' version of it, and can be translated this way. The air you breathe out is the air you will re-inhale. Simply put, if we cut down too many trees, we will soon be breathing in carbon monoxide. If we breathe out love, we will meet love. If we breathe out hate and anger, we will meet love. We will soon enough find ourselves surrounded by hatred and anger. Reality is so structured that goodness brings goodness and sin brings sin. Trump once said that he does not want to ask God for forgiveness because he is willing to take responsibility for everything he does. But that doesn't mean he denies God. He just hoped God wasn't the one responsible for his own mistake. There will be people who always hope for God's forgiveness. but there will also be someone like Trump ready to take full responsibility for his actions. If you do something wrong, you will be punished. There is no escaping it. And of course, if possible, Trump still wants God to enlighten him on the right path. And so are we. If a powerful person goes the wrong way, it will be a terrible thing for the world. We should believe in God, because blind chaos could not have designed things this way, to be innately moral. Only an intelligent goodness could have built reality this way. The next reason for believing in God is the existence of soul, intelligence, love, altruism, and art. These could not have emerged simply from blind chaos, from billions and billions of cosmic bingo chips coming out of nothing, with no intelligent loving force behind them, endlessly churning through billions of years. Random chaos, empty of all intelligence and love from its origins, could not have eventually produced soul and all that's highest inside it. Intelligence, love, altruism, spirituality, and art. Can our own hearts and all that's noble and precious within them really be just the result of billions of fluke chances colliding within a brute, mindless process? A person like Trump always needs alertness, intelligence, and soul to make important decisions. At these times, he wanted to be surrounded by God, and so are we. Every decision in your life, big or small, should be guided by God. He is the only one who loves you and will never harm you. Next, we believe in God because the gospel works. If we work it, what Jesus incarnated and taught ultimately resonates with what's most precious, most noble, and most meaningful inside of life and inside each of us. Moreover, this checks out in life. Whenever I have the faith and courage to actually live out the gospel, to roll the dice on its truth, it always proves to be true. The loaves multiply and feed the thousands, and David defeats Goliath. But it doesn't work unless I risk it. The gospel works if we work it. The objection could be raised here, of course, that many sincere, faith-filled people risk their lives and truth on the gospel. And from all appearances in this world, it doesn't work for them. They end up poor, as victims, on the losing side of things. But again, that's a judgment we make from the standards of this world, from the gospel of prosperity where whoever has the most worldly success wins. The gospel of Jesus undercuts this. Anyone who lives it out as faithfully as he or she is able will be blessed with something beyond worldly success, namely the deeper joy of a life well lived. A joy which Jesus assures us is deeper, less ephemeral, and more lasting than any other joy. I believe in God because the gospel works, as does prayer to talk about his appreciation for God. Trump said that he treasures every Bible he has. Well, I get sent Bibles by a lot of people. We keep them in a certain place, a very nice place. But people send me Bibles. And you know, it's very interesting. I get so much mail, and because I'm in this incredible location in Manhattan, you can't keep most of the mail you get. Trump got more specific. There's no way I would ever throw anything to do anything negative to a Bible. So what we do is we keep all of the Bibles, he said. I would have a fear of doing something other than very positive, so actually I store them and keep them, and sometimes give them away to other people. But I do get sent a lot of Bibles, and I like that. I think that's great. Finally, though certainly not least, we believe in God because of the community of faith that stretches back to the beginning of time, that stretches back to the life and resurrection of Jesus. And that baptized me into the faith. Throughout all of history, virtually all human communities have been also communities of faith, of belief in God, of worship, and of sacred ritual and sacrament. We believe in God because of the existence of families of faith. I'm the president to change faiths in office. Trump told in a written interview that he doesn't consider himself to be Presbyterian. He was confirmed in the church and has called himself Presbyterian numerous times over the years, but no more. I now consider myself to be a non-denominational Christian, Trump said in the statement. Melania and I have gotten to visit some amazing churches and meet with great faith leaders from around the world. During the unprecedented COVID-19 outbreak, I tuned into several virtual church services and know that millions of Americans did the same. Most Americans don't think Trump has strong religious beliefs, according to the Nonpartisan Public Religion Research Institute poll. Roughly 40% say the president is mostly using religion for political purposes. White evangelicals who vote Republican see things differently. 59% say Trump has strong religious beliefs. In some ways, Trump's decision to disassociate with a mainline denomination is also part of a larger cultural trend. Changing religious identification is also common in the United States. Social scientists call this switching. This includes dramatic conversions, like when someone has a born-again experience, but also more subtle changes. Religious switching seems to happen more often when there are a lot of choices, like there are in the United States. And it seems to happen more when people take religion very seriously and think it's an important and distinctive part of their personal identity, like they do in the US. Even so, Trump still firmly believes that he is the president who has instilled a belief in God in many Americans. He said that with the public defense he gave to Christians. Many of them boldly stood up and declared their beliefs. They have come into the light under Trump's protection. Of course, there are still many rumors about Trump's real purpose for doing these things, but no matter what, the race to the White House is still going on. Let's wait and see what promises and actions Trump will make to Christians to call for their support. Belief in God is bolstered by the evidence of God's existence that is readily available. All creation bears silent witness to the fact of a Creator. We are all united by faith in the Creator who told us that we are all equal in His eyes. We are not just flesh and blood, we are human beings with souls. Our republic was founded on the premise that freedom is not a gift from the state, but freedom is a gift from the Creator. Here I will talk about Trump as a person with strong faith in God. He needs you at every point in his life, and has publicly defended Christians many times. Therefore, many people believe that in the upcoming battle, if Trump stays on the right track and puts his trust in God, he will have more hope. But of course, everything happens according to God's will. Who he will choose, we do not know. You sure one can reject the God of the Bible, and many do. Men can reject what Jesus Christ has done for them. To reject Christ is to reject God. What will it be for you? Will you live by man's limited, faulty reason? Or will you acknowledge your Creator and accept God's revelation in the Bible?